The aroma of a flower. It can evoke powerful emotions and memories. It can transport us to different times or places. It can fill our senses with delightful notes and tones. The first thing that comes to mind when thinking about the smell of a flower is its sweetness. The aroma is usually delicate and light, yet it can be intense and robust at the same time. As you bring the flower close to your nose, you can distinguish its unique scent. Some flowers have a citrusy or fruity fragrance, while others have a musky or earthy aroma. The combination of these different smells creates a distinct and memorable experience. What other smells are there? We've done our research. We have touched grass and we have smelled things.
I mean, we have this little fleshy organ on our faces that somehow picks up odors and translates them into different sensations. How does it work? And why is it that some people's sense of smell is so darn good, while others couldn't tell the difference between a rose and a competitive Super Smash Bros. Tournament? In this essay, we'll explore the fascinating world of smells, deep diving into their biological and cultural significance. A human breathes 20,000 times every single day, and recent research indicates that a person's olfactory system can discriminate among at least 10,000 different odors with 3 trillion different combinations. How does this work?
Smelling, or olfaction, is the process by which our brain receives information about the odors in our environment. It's a complex biological process that involves a number of organs and sensory receptors. When we smell something, the odor molecules enter our nostrils and travel through the nasal cavity to the olfactory epithelium, which is located at the top of the nasal cavity. This tissue contains millions of sensory receptors called olfactory receptor neurons, which are specialized cells that respond to specific odor molecules. When an odor molecule binds to an olfactory receptor neuron, it triggers a chemical reaction that sends a signal to the olfactory bulb, which is located in the brain. The olfactory bulb then processes the information and sends signals to the other areas of the brain, such as the limbic system, which is involved in emotion and memory. Smelling pleasant things, like flowers, will release dopamine, which makes you happy. It might also impair your decision making. Whereas smelling bad things, like Papa John's pizza, can trigger instinctual aversions that trigger involuntary responses like vomiting.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the different types of smells out there. There are fruity smells, woody smells, spicy smells, herbal smells, earthy smells, and chemical smells. Each type has its own unique set of molecules that contribute to its overall scent. Fruity smells, for example, are often made up of esters, while woody smells are characterized by terpenes. Sometimes you get the combination of these scents. A fresh book will have earthy smells mixed with the chemicals of ink. You can practically envision the animal habitats that were ravaged so that you can read your smutty vampire fiction. Febreze is a good example of a mix between herbal scents and chemicals. I went a whole 4 semesters in college with people complimenting my smell. What they assumed was cologne was actually a spray-down whore's bath about 15 minutes before class started. Life hack. Anime conventions are another example of combination scent. We're talking every bad smell imaginable. Unshockingly, you will notice an absence of deodorant or floral scents. Who knew that something as simple as a smell could be so complex?
Now that we've covered the different types of smells, let's talk about the best ones. There are some universally beloved scents out there, like freshly baked cookies, a campfire on a crisp autumn night, and even the salty sea air at the beach. These are just a few examples. Let's take a look at the not-so-great smells. There are some smells that are completely reviled by everyone. Take, for example, the smells of burning plastic, burnt hair, rotting garbage, burnt garbage, an alleyway corpse that someone else should have discovered by now. These odors are so powerful that they can even make the strongest of stomachs turn. And don't even get us started on durian, the king of fruits. It smells like cancer. My first ever apartment was in the basement of a crack den. While I would describe that scent as burning plastic, which should be universally reviled, clearly they fucking loved it. Smelled it all the time. But who am I to label things? Who am I to judge? Maybe I'll try some for myself. Maybe I'm missing out. I saw a guy putting a gasoline-soaked rag up to his nose once. I did the same, but unlike him, I didn't really enjoy the smell. I did slowly feel the neurons in my brain decaying, but that's beside the point. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's talk about the social norms around smelling. Sure, it's totally okay to lean in and give a bouquet of flowers a good whiff, but smelling people in public? Not so much. In fact, it might be illegal. But what if we reframe this? What if we said we're doing this for science, to develop a better understanding of people and culture? That sounds like a good legal defense to me, so let's begin. For the purpose of this essay, we went ahead and smelled various different people out in public. Most interestingly, some people have a unique smell that's difficult to describe. Some people have a smell that's like a mixture of burnt popcorn, onions, and stale beer. One of the best things about the human smell is that it can vary depending on the type of day. The morning aroma can be especially unique with a blend of toothpaste, coffee, and maybe fresh linens. The afternoon scent, on the other hand, can be a bit more robust with a combination of stress, fast food, and exhaustion. The men I smelled from my research typically smelled like sweat, implying hard work, physical activity, or sometimes just general laziness and aversion to bathing. Their cologne is usually the first thing you smell. If they bathed recently, the cologne complements their earthy tones. If they don't bathe, the cologne is like a soft blanket covering up something far more sinister. One thing I can say for certain is that men mostly smell like their work. If they work with cars, you can definitely pick up the fragrances of oil and metal. If they work in an office, they might smell like paper, coffee, or even printer toner. As a species, I'd wager that if our olfactory senses were 200% stronger, we could introduce ourselves to strangers with a quick mutual sniff. But what about women? What do women smell like? For most women, it's a delicate balance of floral notes, earthy undertones, and a touch of something unexplainable. Some women have a smell that's sweet and fruity, like a tropical paradise covered in chemicals. Others have a scent that's musky and earthy, like a hike through a forest on a rainy day, but one that's covered in chemicals. You can also smell the hobbies off of people to a lesser degree. If they smell strongly like cigarette smoke, you can probably tell that they don't have a hobby because their lives are consumed with the struggles of late-stage capitalism. If they smell like glue or a computer cleaner, they might be a craftsman or they could just be a huffing enthusiast.
Back in the day, people would drag pine trees into their homes for the purpose of livening things up. Also during this time, people would just dump buckets of shit out their windows into the back streets. So we really can't understand the off-again, on-again nature of scent control in the ancient eras. Still, we can tell when eras changed with the invention of scented candles. These little guys have been around for centuries, and they've come a long way from their humble beginnings as tallow candles that didn't smell all that great. Scented candles have become staples in many homes with their ability to provide a relaxing ambiance and add a pleasant fragrance to a room. The origins of scented candles can be traced back to ancient times when they were first used in religious ceremonies. The ancient Egyptians, for example, used candles made from beeswax as offerings to their gods. It clearly didn't work because they were conquered in 332 BC by the Macedonians. Perhaps if they mastered the science of infusing wax with the essence of a pumpkin pie, they'd have remained a world superpower. In the 1850s, French chemist Michael Eugene Chevreul discovered how to extract essential oils from plants, which led to the development of scented candles as we know them today. These candles were made by adding essential oils to the melted wax, resulting in a pleasant aroma that filled the room when the candle was lit. Essential oils from a wide range of plants, flowers, and fruits were also used to create a variety of unique scents, such as lavender, vanilla, and apple. They're typically sold by newly divorced mothers who were inducted into a multi-level marketing pyramid scheme. Today, scented candles are a multi-billion-dollar industry with numerous companies specializing in their production. You can find them at any mall or airport, but don't try lighting one on an airplane. The stewardesses get really upset. In terms of the scented candle market's economic impact, it's worth noting that the global market was valued at $8.7 billion in 2020 and is projected to continue growing into the years to come. Sales figures for individual companies vary, with Yankee Candle reportedly bringing in over $800 million in annual revenue. In terms of popular scents, there are countless options available on the market, ranging from classic scents like vanilla and lavender to more unique options like sea salt and cactus flower. However, some scents have proven to be perennial favorites, with seasonal options like pumpkin spice and peppermint being popular during the fall and winter months. I found a company that makes root beer float candles because I'm a gamer that lives alone with 3 cats. Another fascinating aspect of smells is the science behind how they affect our emotions and memories. The olfactory system is intricately linked to the limbic system in the brain, which is responsible for emotions and memories. This is why certain smells can trigger vivid memories and emotions even if we haven't encountered them in a long time. For example, the scent of freshly baked cookies might bring back happy memories of childhood, while the scent of hot oil might send you into a traumatic flashback of working at McDonald's. Despite the importance of smells, there are some people who cannot smell at all. This condition is called anosmia and affects around 5% of the population. For those who cannot smell, it can be difficult to detect danger, such as a gas leak or smoke from a fire. On the other hand, some people have an enhanced sense of smell, which is called hyperosmia. This can be both a blessing and a curse, as certain smells can become overwhelming and unbearable. Exposure to a smell for too long will get your brain to filter it out, which is why old people smell like mothballs, and why that weird chick you met off Tinder smelled like cat piss.
Finally, let's talk about the future of smells. As technology continues to advance, there are many exciting possibilities for the world of scent. For example, researchers are exploring the use of smells to improve our health and well-being. This is known as scent therapy. There is also the potential for smells being incorporated into virtual reality and other forms of entertainment, providing a much more immersive experience. We saw some adaptation of this concept introduced as part of the theater releases of Rugrats Go Wild in 2003, which was often accompanied by a scratch and sniff card. But while I'd love to smell the men and women of VR chat, for science of course, this isn't a possibility with current consumer technology.
Another futuristic aspect of scent is with subliminal marketing. Section 5 of the Federal Trade Commission Act, FTCA, prohibits unfair or deceptive acts in or affecting commerce. However, this typically governs the visual and oral senses. There is some precedent towards covert object ambient scents, or COAS, but it's wildly unregulated, especially outside the United States. In South Korea, for example, Dunkin' Donuts installed, quote, flavor radios, unquote, in multiple Korean bus lines. Every time an advertisement for Dunkin' Donuts played, these flavor radios released a scent of coffee that filled the enclosed spaces of public transit. With such a cute-sounding name, what harm could it do? It's just a smell, right? Surely that wouldn't work, right? Well, actually, it increased sales numbers by over 29% during the campaign. Getting people's brains to release decision-interfering dopamine without their consent might actually be somewhat evil. This concept was originally pioneered by Disney, of all companies. They call this technology, quote, smellitizers, unquote. These machines were placed in air vents throughout their parks, jetting out subliminal smells to passerbys. It is used to this day to enhance sales. If you look close enough, you can find them. I'll leave it up to you, if this is nefarious, clever, or both. In conclusion, smells are a fascinating and often overlooked aspect of human biology and culture. From the science behind how we detect smells, to the emotional and memory associations they can evoke, to its potential as a science, there is much to explore and appreciate about the world of scent. So next time you encounter a pleasant or unpleasant smell, take a moment to appreciate the complex biology and history behind olfaction. Again, just don't sniff people for too long, or you will be arrested. Thanks for watching!
Hey there, my name's Kit. Don't mind my dog, they're going through a fuckboy phase right now. Anyways, we have daily YouTube Shorts and daily TikToks over on that platform. We have a Discord, we have a Twitter. We put out weekly videos every Friday at 5 p.m. on this channel. Scripted videos like this one. Maybe a little bit more unhinged, maybe a little bit less, who knows? Hit that like and subscribe button if you want a prophetic dream about the end of time. Also comment down below what you smell like. Kit would like to know. Haha, just kidding. I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to though. How you doing? Anyways, take care. I'll miss you. Bye. Mwah.